Today we will begin working in Unit 1 with Lesson 1. I want you to go ahead and turn in your student book to page 1. Now, I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see this top part of the screen. What do you think you will read about in this passage? What happens to people who commit a crime? There are different types of text or reading selections. The text we will read today belongs to a category called literature. Say literature. Literature consists of stories, poems, dramas, and creatively written prose. The text we will read today is a story. It comes from a longer work of fiction called a novel. A work of fiction is one in which events, characters, and details are made up or not true. This story is told by a narrator in third-person point of view. That means he is outside the story. Is a fictional work made up or based in real life? So will today's text contain real people or made-up characters? I want you to glance at the text. Who is the author of Holes? I want you to go ahead and write that in the area where it says author's name. That means that he wrote the book. The author's purpose is the reason that he or she wrote the text. Authors write for different purposes. They write to entertain, to persuade, or to inform or teach. Knowing an author's purpose can help a reader better understand a text. Was Holes written to inform or entertain? Will the author teach you something or entertain you? So I want you to go ahead and write the answer for author's purpose. Have you read any other piece of literature in which the author's purpose was to entertain? What was the title of the last fiction book that you read? If you like the chapter we are about to read, you should consider reading the entire book, followed by the sequel or continuation, Small Steps. Before we read the excerpt from Holes, we will watch a short video to help build our background knowledge.
Crime investigation is as old as humanity. Most cultures, even going back thousands of years, have used some sort of science to figure out a crime. Even in ancient Rome, the Roman lawyer Quintilian won his client's acquittal for murder by showing that the suspect's hand did not match a bloody paw print at the murder site. These days, the science and technology of investigating crime is increasingly sophisticated. The presence of multiple surveillance cameras was critical to apprehending the Tsarnaev brothers in the Boston Marathon bombings in 2013. The discovery of human DNA marks so-called biological fingerprint convicts criminals because of hair or saliva left at a crime scene. DNA evidence has also exonerated or set free many people in prison who were wrongfully convicted. How to deal with criminals after they've been convicted also keeps changing. Our United States Constitution forbids cruel and unusual punishment because humans have a history of humiliating and brutalizing criminals. Lawmakers and other leaders have different views about punishment. For some, punishment is just that, make the criminal pay a miserable price for their crime. For others, prison keeps the criminal separate to protect society. Still, other leaders believe prison can be a place to rehabilitate the criminal, help them clean up their acts, and become law-abiding. going down since 1995. Many lawmakers want to help young offenders receive therapy, get an education, and rehabilitate. Certain solutions are extreme, such as boot camps. Some lawmakers believe the discipline and the hard work of this environment rehabilitates young people. But boot camps are controversial. After a 14-year-old died in a Florida boot camp, the state of Florida banned them. The search for the best ways to rehabilitate young offenders continues. It costs an average of $88,000 a year to incarcerate a young person. It costs an average of $10,560 per year to educate them. Most adults want to keep young people out of prison and in a classroom.
Now let's look at our big idea questions. To what degree is our destiny within our control? Explain your answer. What do you think that means? So now I want you to write in your answer. Be sure to explain your reasons why. And now our second one, is punishment a pathway to rehabilitation and reform? Explain your answer. So what do you think? So now I want you to go ahead and write in your answer. We'll come back to these questions after we finish reading wholes. You can add to your answers as you gain information and perspective. So now I want you to look at the narrative preview checklist. We're going to look at the excerpt from wholes on pages 3 through 6. And looking at the title, what clue does the title provide about the passage? For pictures, what additional information is added here? And for the margin information, what vocabulary is important to understand this story? So let's think about this. What is the title? What clue does the title provide about the passage? Let's look to see what additional information the pictures provide. What picture do you see behind the title, Wholes? What is the next picture that you see? What tool is pictured at the bottom of the next page? What creature is pictured on the next page? What do you know about lizards? What do you wonder? For myself, I wonder if this is a fictional lizard or if they really exist. I wonder what they eat. I wonder if these yellow lizards are safe. So now I want you to look at page 2 in your student book. This is what page 2 looks like. Another important component to becoming a proficient reader and writer is vocabulary. Put very simply, vocabulary is word meaning. Knowing what words mean will help you understand what you read. The more words you know, the easier reading will become. Let's take a look at the vocabulary words from the Wholes excerpt, the first passage we will read. The words are listed in the first column. The part of speech is in the second column. I'm going to read each one aloud and you will repeat it and then write it in the third column. Then you will rate your knowledge of the word. If you are familiar with the word and can use it correctly in a sentence, give yourself a 3. If you are familiar with the word but not sure if you know the correct meaning, give yourself a 2. If you have heard the word before but aren't sure how to use it, give yourself a 1. If you can't pronounce the word or have never heard the word before, give yourself a 0. The points are not a grade. They are just there to help you know which words you need to focus on. By the end of this unit, you should be able to change all your ratings to a 3. That's the goal. Let's take a closer look at the words. Let's read the first word together. Commit. Commit means to do something that is against the law or harmful. What means to do something against the law or harmful? People sometimes commit theft if they are hungry enough. If a player commits too many fouls, he or she has to leave the game. If you commit a parking error, you may not pass the driving test. Does a person commit a sneeze? Yes or no? When Vera stole lipstick, did she commit a crime? Yes or no? Now I want you to think about a crime that was committed on a TV show you recently watched. Let's read the next word together. Dazed. Dazed means very confused and unable to think clearly. What means very confused and unable to think clearly? A roller coaster ride can leave you feeling dazed and dizzy. Some people feel dazed when they walk out of a dark theater into the blinding light. My kitten looked dazed after it ran into a wall. Could getting bumped on the head leave you feeling dazed? Yes or no? If a person is struggling with homework, is it possible he is dazed? Yes or no? Now I want you to think about a time you or a friend were dazed. Let's read the next word together. Barren. Barren means without plant or animal life. What means without plant or animal life? The barren desert landscape offers little shade. Some people go camping in barren areas so allergies don't bother them. The Arctic region is barren and cold. Is the rain forecast barren? Yes or no? Is the moon barren? Yes or no? Now I want you to tell about a movie or story that takes place in a barren setting. Let's read the next word together. Juvenile. Juvenile means related to a person under 18 years of age. What means related to a person under 18 years of age? Juvenile crime is down in recent years. A 16-year-old car thief would likely be sent to a juvenile detention center. The school board invited 2 juvenile citizens to give their opinions about the dress code. Is a grandfather a juvenile member of the family? Yes or no? Could a juvenile coaching staff be made up of teenagers? Yes or no? Now I want you to describe the perfect juvenile vacation resort. Let's read the next word together. Declare. Declare means to state something in a firm or official way. What means to state something in a firm or official way? The seniors declared the first row of parking spaces to be theirs. Officials declare the winner at the end of a tournament. A man declared his love for his girlfriend by proposing to her on the radio. The principal announced her retirement over the intercom. Did she declare her retirement? Yes or no? If you think a thought in your mind, have you declared it? Yes or no? Now let's read the next word together. Premises. Premises are land and buildings owned by a person or company. What means the land and buildings owned by a person or company? You may not smoke on the premises of many restaurants. My mother is allergic to cats and does not want them on her premises. A fence marks the premises of my aunt's ranch. Are classes held on the school premises? Yes or no? Would you find a concession stand on the premises of a ballpark? Yes or no? Now I want you to describe the premises of the elementary school that you attended. Let's read the next word together. Aware. Aware means knowing something exists or is happening. What means knowing something exists or is happening? When I saw the dark clouds, I became aware of the coming storm. She is aware that the new boy likes her, but wishes he would say so. We are aware that satellites are in the sky even though we can't see them. When your stomach growls, are you aware of your hunger? Yes or no? When a baby is born, is he or she aware of the hospital rules? Yes or no? Now I want you to tell me about a moment you became aware of something that made you happy. Now let's read the next word together. Consist. Consist means to be made up of. What means to be made up of? The fine arts consist of theater, dance, and music. The sport of baseball consists of throwing, batting, running, and catching. My lunch will consist of a sandwich, an apple, and pretzels. Does the solar system consist of planets orbiting the sun? Yes or no? Does a garden consist of streets and buildings? Yes or no? Now I want you to tell me what your favorite outfit consists of. Let's read the next word together. Avoid. Avoid means to stay away from something or someone. What means to stay away from something or someone? I avoid people when they are sick. People with fair skin usually try to avoid the sun to keep from getting burned. My dog hides behind the couch to avoid his bath. Should an athlete in training avoid sugary snacks? Yes or no? Do you try to avoid your best friends? Yes or no? Now I want you to tell me about a food that you avoid. Let's read the last word together. Vast. Vast means extremely large. What means extremely large? It took us over an hour to walk through the vast furniture store. Finding my car in a vast parking lot is always a challenge. When I look out at the vast ocean, I imagine very different shores. Is outer space vast? Yes or no? Is the tip of a pencil vast? Yes or no? Now I want you to tell me how you would feel in the middle of a vast desert.